What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 3 of Meadowland Madness, back on Big Al Banter Media. Good to see you guys. Today, we got quite an interesting show. Some interesting stuff happened with the Giants today, a really tragic injury with the Jets. We'll preview our quarterback rooms, and we'll do our top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. What am I saying? I am joined by my awesome co-host coming from a different location, Andrew Acevedo. How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, we are live on the move, not in the normal studio. We're out here at a baseball game pregame, so you probably camera will be on maybe once in a while, but the Giants have to make it interesting.
Yep. So before we get into that, we actually have a new feature. So you guys, I know the meme on the joke my channel is Collins. Everyone's always begging for Collins. This isn't going to be live Collins, but what we do have now is a voicemail line. So we used to have this on Big Al Baseball Banter, and then we kind of went to full live Collins. But if you have any questions you want to ask via voicemail, the number is 585-622-4931. Make sure you call in with your guys' football questions. So you can use that if you guys want. Of course, you can ask them in the chat. So let's get started. So Giants, Jets training camp going underway. Today, the Jets got started in full pads. I'm guessing the Giants probably did too.
Yep.
Let's just get it out of the way. What the hell happened to the Giants in this fight where Daniel Jones is at the bottom of the pile?
So pretty much, I guess I got it written down here. Supposedly Jaron Williams, I guess the linebacker that they brought in, kills Corey Clement, the running back they brought in, and all hell broke loose. Then Evan Ingram tried to, push him around a little bit, and then they started brawling. Then Logan Ryan got into it. But then we find out it was because of Lenny Wiggins and Danny Shelton who threw Daniel Jones into the mix, and all hell broke loose. Logan Ryan said after the game, he's fine. The room is good, but it's still, it's chippiness. You guys are trying to battle for jobs, and it's just you're trying to beat the guy in front of you, and sometimes shit goes down.
Yeah, especially a lot in like trench play. A lot of times when you're really going at it with the other guy. With the Jets yesterday, Cam Clark, who unfortunately got injured, we'll get into that in a sec, and Tanzel Smart, who's kind of a bubble roster guy, doubt he's going to make it, got a little fist-to-fist kind of altercation yesterday, but not the kind of thing the Giants have. The number one rule in training camp is don't touch the quarterback. I mean, you wear the red jersey so you don't get hit. And, this kind of stuff can't happen. Joe Jones was clearly pissed about it. Didn't he make everyone run laps because of it or something?
Yeah, they did 2 laps each and then like 2 big sets of push-ups, the whole squad. And Jones ran individually as well. So,
yeah,
not a great day at the camp.
And I saw the clip, like Jones, like he's like, I'm still part of the team, like even the position I play. So it's like, I want to get involved. But at the same time, though, it's like you have the biggest impact on the team and you're the hardest to replace because if the Giants, as much as I say about Daniel Jones, Mike Glennon is not Daniel Jones. So,
no.
So that's pretty interesting. With the Jets training camp, we got started with pads today. For a lot of times, you get kind of worried because there's all these tweets about Carl Lawson going off, the offensive line getting absolutely roasted. And, that's what happens when you're not wearing pads. You need the offensive lineman needs something to grab on besides, as what Zach Wilson said, just slippery, sweaty bodies, And probably someone's going to clip that and post everywhere of Zach Wilson saying that. But, you need something as a former left tackle yourself, Andrew, you could probably understand.
100%.
You need something to grip onto. But the really tragic thing happened, and Jose mentions it here, Cameron Clark. So Cameron Clark was drafted last year in the 4th round, tackle out of Charlotte, but he's going to be playing guard. And he has kind of, hopeful, fans are kind of hopeful he could potentially be a starting right guard, but this really hurts him. So he had some sort of neck or back injury where he had to get carted off the field, rushed to the hospital. He's staying there overnight tonight. His dad just said that he's fine. This probably ends the season, which is really unfortunate. You really hope it's not some sort of Ryan Shazier kind of situation where your career,
100%.
I'm pretty sure he was moving afterwards, so he didn't get paralyzed like when it happened. But yeah, prayers for Cameron Clark. That's really sad, especially for a young player like this who we really hoped, would be able to, emerge as a starter. This isn't really going to affect his chance. As probably making the roster. I think he's going to make the roster. And even a lot of players get hurt in training camp, and it helps them make the roster. You just get put on IR, and you don't get cut immediately. So
you hang around, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting stuff come from Jets camp. Zach Wilson He's been a little up and down. That's what's going to happen with a rookie, but nothing's really too legit until the pads come on. You're doing full team practices. Other injuries, I'm pretty sure Chuma Edoga had a knee injury. He's really bad. He's probably going to get cut. Hopefully he's just that bad. And Jabari Zuniga, who's a third-round pick from last year, we're really hoping we can get something out of. He didn't do anything his rookie year. He got hurt. Robert Saleh didn't say. He said he wasn't quite sure what it was, but yeah, he's hurt. And some other funny stuff happened. I guess Saleh has kids to the field today. So Zach Wilson was playing with them, so he was asked by reporters, how's your chemistry with the Saleh boys? And he was like, he just cracked up about it. So Saleh said, if you told me that we were able to get Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, and Michael Carter, I would ask you what you're smoking before the draft. So great stuff from Robert Saleh. You know me, I love Robert Saleh. So, we got to see him coach. We can't just see him being a nice guy. But, yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on from training camp. I guess other things, Elijah Moore is absolutely killing it. Bless Austin got roasted. What's new? He stinks.
What's new?
If you're new to this channel, I need to make a compliment of Bless Austin getting absolutely roasted until he gets cut because he is terrible. Anything else from Giants camp?
Kenny Galladay left practice early today with a hamstring. Nothing doesn't look to be serious, but before I guess all the brouhaha happened, Galladay injured his hammy. He left before the big fight, but something to look forward to. He wasn't limping or anything, so that's good to see. But you never want to see your brand new weapon who has maybe a little history of getting injured, already tweaking a hammy before we get into I guess today was the first day of full pads, but you never want first day full pad getting injured. Saquon also was
like one sec with that. Like Kenny Galladay, like when he got signed, there's this notion about him that he's like this insanely injury-prone player. It's an extremely overrated narrative.
Yeah, I mean, he had the big injury, the hip injury that lingered all the year last year. And maybe, did he miss a couple, 2 games? I think he missed 2 games with.
It's a wide receiver. They miss games all the time.
I mean, he's a bigger guy, so maybe, you don't want to see it kind of like a Devontae Smith situation where he's a little guy getting killed. He's not. He's 6'4" and an absolute beast. But Saquon, he's still in the pub list, but he was on the main field, but on the backfield, he was running a bunch of routes looking good. He was cutting well. He running some Texas routes, running just pretty much just run on the 20 ACL, looked good. I guess he's still projected to play week 1, but just it's good to see Saquon on the field again, just, tearing it up with those giant quads.
Yep, Saquon's Barkley. Good for the fantasy people, too, if anyone's planning on drafting him. So
100%.
So is that pretty much it from Giants camp?
Yeah, pretty much. Again, Blake Martinez still isn't. The linebacking core looks bad without Blake Martinez. Supposedly, eyes are saying that,
I can't cover me. I'm fat.
Well, at this point, he might be the only linebacker right now. Tay Crowder's played well. Ozejo Ojulari looks like he's going to be edge number 1 because Joe Judge is loving him, and he's playing first-team reps at the edge. The corners have looked good. Again, when Galladay and Jones were able to play together, they've made some great connections. So they're trying to build their chemistry. But, it's just – we'll see, man. Now this fight is going to run at least a couple days with the media going to run wild with it.
Yep, of course. Yeah, we got a little argument in the chat. Saquon or Derrick Henry? Who are you taking?
Healthy Saquon right now. Derrick Henry.
I agree. Henry just has nothing in the passing game. That's the thing. Like he's just an awful route runner. His hands aren't good, and Saquon's really good in the passing game. Maybe you'll take Derrick Henry as pass pro, and maybe as a pure runner, Derrick Henry's probably the best pure runner in the league. But there's more just running. And also, you're going to get, I'm going to have a million rants on this show about why stats are stupid. You're going to get a lot of you're going to get a lot of yards and shit when you're getting a million carries a game. That's why stats and stuff are ridiculous. We're going to be ranking players towards the end of this episode, and you're not going to hear me bring up pretty much any stats. So we're talking quarterbacks with me. Maybe some advanced stats like danger plays, interceptable passes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if an interception, if a quarterback gets credited for an interception, what if it's just the wide receiver hit Evan Ingram's hands because he's got stone hands and caught by someone else? Is that the quarterback's fault? So any other news brings at least none of our team to the Colts. Man, they are getting hammered with the injuries now. Carson Wentz is out, which it just sucks, man. I like watching the guy play. He's kind of like a he's a pretty mobile quarterback. He's a big dude, takes the shots. He's almost like a younger Big Ben Roethlisberger in a way, big arm and stuff like that. It just sucks to see how much first of all, he gets absolutely so much scrutiny from the media. They make up all these narratives about his character or whatnot, which I bet are complete bullshit. Now, just seeing him constantly being injured, it just sucks, man. It's a foot injury. He's going to be out for a bit. Now, of course, people are already starting, Nick Foles to Indianapolis, so let's make it happen again.
Boy.
Nick Foles isn't good, guys. So, let's get over it. He had a really good playoff run. So did Joe Flacco. I don't. I mean, it's a funny narrative, I guess, but it's just unfortunate. And now Quentin Nelson going down too. They have the same injury, which is crazy, getting the same surgery. What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's the best offensive lineman in football, man. That sucks. The Colts have always had they've developed a pretty good offensive line, of course, after they lose Andrew Luck. Exactly. But Quentin Nelson's a beast. You never want to see the best player at a position get hurt. Carson Wentz, same thing. I thought he'd have a really bounce back year. I thought he would win comeback player of the year. Now he's probably gonna miss through week 4, they said.
Yeah. I mean, it does benefit the Colts in the way, because if they miss the playoffs and he doesn't play a certain percentage of snaps, they won't have to give Philadelphia a first-round pick. They'll give him a second-round pick.
I forgot about that condition. It's a conditional
pick. So it's interesting. But really unfortunate for them. Other news: did the Michael Thomas thing didn't happen before last episode, right?
I believe it was after the fact. Same thing with the Xavier Howard trade demand.
Let's talk about that. So we'll start with Michael Thomas first. The Saints running back or wide receiving room is absolutely terrible, but everybody who has the number 1 pick in fantasy, in my opinion, draft Alvin Kamara, because he's maybe the best receiving back in football, and he's going to be getting a ton of receptions now, especially when they're late in games and stuff like that. He's my number 1 guy in fantasy right now. I'm not an expert, but just putting the pieces of the puzzle together in my head, you're going to take a guy who's going to be an elite receiver and is going to be getting a lot of targets and a lot of reps at running back too. So but man, what's interesting is the Jets may have a potential trade spot for a guy like a Jamison Crowder, because I think you can maybe get a 4th round pick for him, a 4th or 5th round pick, maybe a 3rd round pick, even late 3rd. Saints, their wide receiving room is a disaster right now, so it could be interesting. But Michael Thomas, people calling him the best receiver in football last year was kind of always silly, because he got a lot of receptions, because he got forced the ball. Again, stats. But stats. But no, he had a lot of his brother, Stephen A. Smith. His brother can really play. He had 100 yards, 100 receptions.
100 yards, couple touchdowns.
A couple touchdowns. His brother can really play. He's balling. Stay off the weed. We'll stay off that topic.
Stay off that one, yeah.
Yeah, but any thoughts on Michael Thomas and just the Saints in general?
I mean, the Saints, again, they lost Drew. Now they're running a QB room with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. I think this is going to be a slow downfall for the Saints. I would expect them, maybe I could take a bold pick here. There will be a top 5 worst team in the league. They'll have a top 5 pick in the draft. Yes, they have a great defense, Marcus Davenport, Cam Jordan, Marshawn Latimer, but quarterback's the most important position. Look at the Giants. Again, I think, if you take the quarterback out of the way of the Giants, and, yes, I'll use the Giants as kind of my team so I can use them as narrative and stuff. But you give the Giants a better quarterback, there could be people to say the Giants could easily win the division just because you got Daniel Jones. People are doubting and hating on the Giants because of the quarterback. So for me, quarterback is the most important position. And then running, interception machine, Jameis Winston, and a tight end at quarterback with Taysom Hill.
An
H-back. So, I mean, again, the Saints right now, if Michael Thomas wants out, I mean, I wouldn't blame him. The Saints could probably get some picks if they can get a Jamal Adams type haul, which I don't expect, because nobody's stupid enough to do that besides the Seahawks. Sorry, Jose.
Hey, that's what I like to see, Andrew.
No, I got to make the digs when I can. But it's going to be interesting with the Saints. Michael Thomas gets traded, maybe get a couple 2nd-round picks. Maybe somebody gets desperate, like for wide receiver 1 kind of team. I really can't think of one. Maybe you could say,
is he a true number 1 wide receiver? Like, he's not an elite downfield target. I
mean, but there is some. You put him in New England in a Belichick kind of system, he would be an absolute machine, because they won that blowout quickly, especially if they got Mac Jones or Cam Newton. I could fit that could fit in real well. But right now, again, we'll see what he does. Maybe they'll let the front office decide, and how they play on the field determines maybe the deadline. Thomas gets moved.
The thing is, too, wide receiving for trade value is at an all-time low now, because the amount of quality wide receivers coming out of the draft every year.
Yeah,
Look at the amount of guys in 2020. Like, past CD, Judy, and Ruggs, you had Jefferson, Mims, Claypool.
Bengals guy. T. Higgins.
You had Van Jefferson. You had, and this year, Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore,
Tony, and then the big three.
Tony, Bateman, like outside of like the big guys.
Yeah.
These drafts are, even the second round, Elijah Moore, people are talking about him as like the guy to get in fantasy leagues, and he's a second round pick. So, I mean, he probably should have been a first round pick. But like the amount of wide receivers in these drafts, and that's just the nature of college football nowadays. A lot of spread concepts, a lot of stuff like that, which, they spread the ball around. It's not just getting it to one guy anymore. So, it's interesting to see. I don't think they're going to trade him. It's just what happened too is like they probably knew he was going to need the surgery, but I don't think he wanted to rehab in his time off, which is kind of shitty. I mean, you're getting paid millions, just get the surgery so you can actually play. So it's a shitty situation. And then moving on to Xavier Howard, I'll clown on the Dolphins a lot, especially when we talk about their quarterback and stuff like that. But I'm totally taking the Dolphins side of this. Xavier Howard is becoming extremely unlikable. So what you're telling me is that you signed a huge contract. At the time, you weren't this elite player. And now you finally hit that ceiling, and now you want more money. Fans are saying this. Okay, so if you underperformed, would you give the money back? Like, these players need to understand that it's not only like a risk for the player to sign the contract, it's a risk for the team to sign the contract. That's why you negotiate it. It needs to benefit both sides. So I think the Dolphins will trade him. They don't have to, though. They have all the leverage. They have him under contract. They're not going to get much, honestly. They'll probably get a second-round pick. They might get a first-round pick, but I don't think the league sees him in the way that fans do. Fans think of him as like the best corner in football because he got a lot of interceptions last year, which, sacks, picks, tackles, yards, shit like that is just does not make the player good. He had like 10 interceptions last year. He's a very good corner, probably a top 5 corner. But he's 29. I think 28 or 29. Corners do not age well. I don't think you're getting a first-round pick for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll use the game. We're going to use the stats narrative again. Like, Howard got 10 picks. How many picks did Jalen Ramsey get last year? I think he got 2. So it's also, he was getting targeted because he wasn't the guy he is. And now that, people now know his name, maybe quarterbacks stop throwing him. So, but again, if I'm Miami right now, their defense is pretty good. They're a team developing. They're on the rise. The Jets fans don't want to see that. They want to hear that. We'll see what that quarterback does. I'm not high on him. Obviously, you've made it kind of crystal clear you're not high on him. But
6-11, book it, Miami 6-11.
6-11. But again, Brian Flores is a great coach. He turns the ball over. He's a left-handed quarterback. He was doomed from the start. But again,
Tebow, but less athletic.
This isn't a 2 Ryan. I'll let you do that another time.
We'll get to that eventually.
Maybe when they play the Jets, I'll give you the whole half hour to rant about Tua. But pretty much, yeah. If I'm Miami, I'm testing offers. But if I have them under control, there's no point for me to move them. You sign a contract. I've got years of control on you. Why am I going to move you? Why am I going to give you more money when you've already signed the deal? So play for the money. That's how I kind of go with it.
And like, I get it. Like, he doesn't have a lot of guarantees and whatnot, but you're the one who negotiated the contract at the time. You weren't this elite corner when you negotiate it. The Dolphins are honestly doing you a favor. And like I said, if you underperform, are you going to give the money back? Like, it makes no sense. So I think he's going to stay. It's going to be interesting to see if he goes anywhere. Right now, nowadays, holdouts are, kind of non-existent anymore. Like, players go or they're going to get fined. Even Deshaun Watson showed up to his camp. And he's made it freaking clear he doesn't want to be there. And he has some other, situations going on. We won't get into that.
Maybe later, though.
Let's get into we're done with our news segment. Let's get into our quarterback previews for our team. Let's start with the New York Giants. I feel like I've been talking too much. Let's start with you, Andrew.
Hey, right now I'm on the move, so the more you talk, the better.
I'm helping you out, so.
It's all good. I mean, I got time.
Jose says F you for
I'm sorry. Jose, it was low-hanging fruit. I'm sorry, buddy.
Wait till you get to top 10 safeties.
Oh boy, that's where you get flamed. With the Giants room, I mean, obviously, again, it is the make or break. Put the bullet in the head of Daniel Jones or not. He's got Galladay, the offensive line. They brought in Joe. I did not talk about this. Joe Tooney from the Cowboys. They brought him for some extra lineman depth.
Joe Tooney from the Cowboys.
Yeah, the guy that played center and guard. Not Tooney. Tooney is with the Chiefs. Tooney's
good. Tooney's good.
Tooney's really good. Joe Tooney. Not Thuney. From the Cowboys, they brought him. They brought him in. They also maybe are talking to the Austin Whitley, the Chiefs' former center, the Austin Sky or something. But that's more of stuff I missed. But let's get to the quarterback room. The offensive line, that's going to be the biggest thing with Jones. Is if he has time, he's actually looked decent. He's had some bad throws. Obviously, he's had some good throws. That's kind of how camp goes. But it is the make or break year with him. He's been injured, and that's the other thing that they have actually now. They brought in a solid backup quarterback in Mike Glennon, which again, he's not a flashy guy. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl, but can he win the game?
I don't know how much. That's low hanging fruit, man.
That was low hanging fruit. I give it to. I'm all for the low hanging fruit. But yeah, it's on Jones. Maybe can they finally get more of the running in? Incorporate his running game because again, he is maybe one of the most underrated runners in the league. That he can make plays with his feet as well as his arm is 50-50. But when you give him time, he can make throws. He can make the occasional desperation, running out of the pocket throw. It's all on Jones right now. And can he keep away Sam Howell out of North Carolina or whoever else is in the draft, or
Spencer Rattler,
Spencer Rattler, or something like that, or hell, maybe even Deshaun Watson, which we'll get to in our quarterback rankings. Maybe him or Aaron Rodgers. It's the last dance for Rodgers in Green Bay. Again, for me, Jones, it's just kind of can he? Like I've said, I think in every episode, can you just be Alex Smith? That's all I want you to be is Alex Smith.
Don't turn it over. Yep.
Don't turn the ball over.
Early in his career, Alex Smith had some underrated mobility, and so does Daniel Jones. So I think they can be incredibly similar. So you have Mike Glennon as a backup. Is there any relevant guy at third string?
Keyword being relevant there. I mean, not really. They bring in like Davis Webb. They've had him for a little while. It's really Glennon and Jones. If we see a third, that's a problem.
Yeah. I've had to recently. So.
You guys are.
Let's move on to the Jets quarterback. But before we get to that, this is kind of an interesting thing. Where do you think Daniel Jones right now ranks among the quarterbacks in your division?
In my division, obviously Dak's one. He's in the top 10, top 15. We'll get to that in a second. I think he's better than Jalen Hurts. That's just me.
I think he's better than
Fitzpatrick too. I think as well. So I think he's the second best quarterback in the division. That doesn't say much again with Fitzpatrick and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so does it rank for you Dak, Jones,
Fitzpatrick, Fitz, and then Hurts? Yeah. I don't think Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's anything.
No.
I think Eagle fans are just overrating him because he's athletic and
games like he didn't play well, and the thing with him is like he went from a guy who everyone said should switch positions, and now all of a sudden he's a franchise quarterback.
He's quarterback, and everybody was mocking the pick, and now he's a franchise quarterback.
Great
so
pick.
Leave that, yeah. So. What do the Jets QB room look like?
Obviously, Wall Street Wilson. He is signed now. I don't know if we said that last time, but he's signed. He's in camp. He's at a shaky camp. He's a rookie. What do you expect? He's not getting into any fights though, so it's all good. Zach Wilson. He's obviously the week 1 starter, no doubt about that. The interesting guy is James Morgan. So James Morgan, 4th-round pick last year out of Florida International University, was kind of the 4th string quarterback last year. He was inactive for every game. Whenever Joe Flacco would play, Mike White would be the backup. The first couple of weeks, Mike White was the backup before Joe Flacco came back healthy. So he's kind of progressed his way from the QB4 and now to maybe a QB3, even QB2. He's going to stick around on this roster, my opinion. Worst case, maybe a practice squad if the rest of the league is soured on him. But he was a 4th-round pick. I don't think the Jets want to risk, a 4th-round pick losing him to another, getting claimed by another team. So he's interesting. Supposedly, he's actually been okay in training camp. So if he can be the QB2 for a little while, that's huge. I'm still in favor of bringing in a veteran now. Nick Foles is intriguing, but, the Colts might need him a little more. Outside of that, there's really nothing else. If you want to go RG3, but not really. Maybe. Josh Johnson, Blake Bortles, like –
there's options.
Many options. So I mean, I'd rather see what we have in the young guy with Morgan. Maybe you bring Bortles in as a camp guy. Like I've said, I'd rather wait for Nick Foles to sign to get released or sign somewhere. There's also some guys who the Jets were looking at in free agency who signed who might not make the roster. Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, the 2 backups from the 49ers.
Because they got Garoppolo.
A lot of people think that, because they didn't sign them, then why would they sign them now? Well, I think that they always wanted to get an evaluation on these 2 young guys. There's another young guy I'm going to get into in a sec. And then, see whether or not you want to get a backup instead of that. But I think, it's a possibility. Mullins, he's probably the 3rd quarterback on the Eagles, and Beathard's probably the 4th quarterback on the Jaguars. You got Lawrence, you got
Minshew.
Minshew, you got Luton in front of them. So don't ask me why I know who Luton is, but
That's a little scary.
yeah,
But yeah, go.
I know. Yeah, I don't know why, but Jake, he started the game last year. It's because before I got into Zach Wilson, I really wanted Lawrence, and I kept watching the Jaguars to see if they were gonna win a game or not. That's why. Is Andrew Acevedo outside? Yes.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, I'm outside a AA game right now.
Baseball.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then behind James Morgan, we got Mike White. The team seems like they're decently high on him. He's probably a practice squad guy. He was drafted by the Cowboys in 2018, the same year as Darnold and Barkley and those guys. Fourth round pick or something, I guess, was really bad. Our entire quarterback room is yet to throw an NFL pass. So that's a little scary. That might be why you want to get, a
veteran in there. Yeah,
a veteran in there. But I'm curious to see what they can do this preseason. We should probably do a live reaction depending on how our schedules are to the Jets Giants preseason game. That could be interesting. So
if I get a link, I'm all for that. We can do that.
Oh yeah, man. So that's the Jets and Giants quarterback room. Good room. Oh, Zach Wilson against the rest of his division.
Yeah,
right now I have him at number 2. So I think Josh Allen's clearly number 1, and I'm gonna go Wilson too. I think whether it's Mac Jones or Cam Newton, I think Mac Jones is obviously up. Cam Newton is falling off a bit. I think Cam Newton's kind of just a game manager who can run a little bit at this point. He's kind of physically limited, and then Jacoby Brissett probably comes in 4 for the Dolphins.
Wow.
Tua. The relief pitcher on the Dolphins, and of course you got Tua Tagovailoa coming in. I'll make a whole segment of why I don't believe in him and the team in general, but
100%.
I'll just say this before we do that. I hated on Tua before it was cool to hate on Tua, because now everyone's like, oh, he's a bust, trade him, all this stuff. But when he was coming out, I never thought he was any good. So I'm in that, exclusive club. You know what I'm saying? So
I didn't think he'd be. I thought he'd be decent, but
at the time, looking good right now.
Yeah, you're looking good. All right, we getting into that top 15.
But decent doesn't. I think he can be decent, but decent doesn't win you championships.
I mean, the Eagles won with Nick Foles.
All right, let's get into the. That's true. Yeah, but Carson Wentz was there for half the year before.
That's
the majority of the regular season.
That's true. All right, let's get into this top 15.
Let's go to top 15 quarterbacks. Guys, let me know if my connection's good. It's saying I have issues, but hopefully it's all right. I can hear you totally fine. So,
cool.
To preface this, I did not include Deshaun Watson on this list. Okay, you said you're lagging a little bit. Damn.
Me?
Oh, it says I should be better now. I didn't put Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's going to play this year. If he's on this list, put him at 4 and bump everyone else down. Keep that in mind if he's on this list. But I kept him out. Do you have Watson on your list?
Yeah, I do.
You know what? I'll add him here. So, Mets fan, this one's for you. Derek Carr comes off. Everyone else moves down. And
I didn't put that on. All right, so you want to do like 15 to 10, and then we'll break it down, and then
15 to. Yeah, we can go 15 to 10, and then 10 to 5 or whatever, and then just kind of break down these
top
guys.
5.
Just say yours.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to start?
All right, so yeah, I'll let you start, and then I want me to go first. All right, so I'll do it for Mets fan. I had Tannehill at 15, but I totally forgot about Derek Carr, so I'll put Derek Carr at number 15. It's just something about him. Tannehill I think is a what's it called? What's system quarterback? System QB.
So true.
I don't. He went to Miami, was a flop in Miami, and then now he's turned into a capable quarterback when he's got Derrick Henry, AJ Brown. Now they go out and get Julio Jones. Yes. Do I think he's a game manager? He's a system QB, 100%. Number 14, I went Matt Ryan, another guy I never really had a lot of faith in. Yes, he got to a Super Bowl. Yes, he won an MVP in the Shanahan system. Bro, you put me in the Shanahan system, and I can win MVP. It's one of the easiest systems to get. It's one of the best offensive systems. So, yes, he had Julio, Calvin. Exactly. So Tannehill's in the same thing. So, again, that's just for me. Not athletic. Arm, he's aging, so his arm's getting a little worse and worse every year. So I got him at 14. At 13, we got Kirk Cousins, fantasy football legend. Kirk's one of those guys who just, he's just going to give you yards. He gives you yards, he gives you touchdowns, he gives you fantasy points. That is what Kirk Cousins is. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's probably not going to win you a division, but he'll produce yards. He'll get you points on the board. And number 12, I put Justin Herbert. I am falling in love with Justin Herbert. The more and more I watch this kid, I thought I was scouting him the year he was supposed to come out for the Giants, and I was like, oh my God, the Giants are going to get a franchise quarterback. And then he went back to play with his brother at Oregon. and I hate that decision, and I will dread that decision he made for the rest of my life. Herbert, man, this kid's got an absolute cannon. He's accurate. He's mobile enough. He can run the pro system. He can run the college system. He's just something about Herbert. Just, God, this kid's going to be good in the Chargers.
His brother can really play, man.
That brother can really – he throws yards, and he can run with yards. And then here's my controversial pick. At number 11, I got Lamar Jackson. I don't like Lamar Jackson at all. For me, again, you have to be a quarterback first. You need to be able to have the arm talent with the ability to run. He does not have the arm talent. The guys that have above him.
First.
Pocket. Yeah, exactly. You have to be, have the ability to play quarterback first with the ability to run, not an elite running ability with, subpar QB. He's a dink and duck quarterback. He's not going to, you don't want him with the game on the line, Lamar Jackson with the ball. And with a scheme that, like, let's say it's a Super Bowl and the defensive scheme knows how to beat him, I would have the guys ahead of him before I want Lamar Jackson taking that play. I really thought about putting Herbert ahead of him, but I'll let Herbert see year 2 before I put him over Lamar. Who's your 15 to 11?
All right, 15 to 11. Coming in at 15, I got Kirk Cousins. He's kind of the quintessential average, above average quarterback. He's very hated on for no reason because he, quote, can't win the big game. Again, football's a team sport. A lot of times it's his team who has issues. But, that game he played against the Saints, that playoff game, he had that clutch throw to Thielen at the end. He's kind of a master of, good at every, what's the saying? Master of none.
Master of none, but good at everything. Good at some, average at some, something like that.
Yeah.
Good at some.
But he's just not really particularly great at everything. He's not elite in the pocket. Doesn't have some elite processor, but he's a pretty safe quarterback. Doesn't make too many stupid decisions. But he's a little underrated as an mobility wise too. But he plays in in another kind of Shanahan-y offense. Run first offense.
Great weapons.
Is he a Shanahan? I don't think so. I don't think he plays in like the Shanahan
I don't know what
offense.
system he runs out of, but yeah.
It was like
great weapons.
Gary Kubiak, I think, was the
Kubiak, yeah.
So
Kubiak
so he's kind of your quintessential kind of average, above average. I'm higher on him than most people are, but he's a borderline top 10 quarterback, kind of depending on. He's very dependent on his supporting cast. Then coming in at 13 or 14, Matt Ryan, kind of what you said. I think he's starting to fall off a bit. That kind of arm talent is starting to fall off a bit. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league, a really good processor, pretty good in the pocket, but offers you nothing as a runner as well. 13, Ryan Cannahill. What I like about him is he actually offers you a lot in the pot, running the ball too. He's pretty mobile.
Okay.
The thing with him is he might have the easiest job in the world. He's got Derrick Henry. The majority of the plays passes there are play action passes, and now you add Julio to AJ Brown. I mean, there's a reason where, your situation can really help you. And I think Tannehill is honestly a product of the situation. Now, it's incredible what he's done since leaving Miami. And he's been able to stay healthy too. He's not a bad quarterback. I think he's extremely overrated. I don't think he's top 10.
No.
He's got decent traits, but he just plays in such an easy. His job is just ridiculously easy. Great offensive line too.
100%.
Coming in at number 12, maybe the most overrated player in the league, Dak Prescott. He's good at a lot of things. Is he particularly great at anything? He's decent in the pocket, decent arm. But there's not really a trait he has that really. I never say wow when I watch Dak Prescott. He's a good over the middle passer. He's kind of good at everything, but not really great. He's just kind of, and does he deserve the money he's getting? No, but. Yes, at the same time, just the same fact that that's where the market is. I just think nothing that Dak Prescott does just really screams great to me. I think he's a definition of a B quarterback. Coming in at number 11 for me is Kyler Murray. The thing with me that really bugs me about Kyler Murray, he cannot throw over the middle of the field at all. It's mainly because of his height. Can't see that.
Yeah.
Can't see over there. He's outside the numbers, and he's an elite runner, which is interesting. Air raid system really kind of accentuates the middle of the field, which it's an interesting fit, especially considering that was Cliff Kingsbury's guy. But, I think, he started out the year so good and then kind of fell off. Really good arm and maybe probably the second best rusher at quarterback in the league. He's so twitchy. And what I love about him that a lot of young quarterbacks need to do, he takes care of himself. He slides. He doesn't do these unnecessary hits. He runs out of bounds. That's what I really like to see from him. I just need to see a little more from him. But he has potential to be a legit top 5 quarterback. But he just needs to get a lot better at throwing over the middle of the field. So then we're going 10-5, right?
Yeah, 10-5. All right. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get a little hate here because I'm gonna go with my bias because I love this guy coming out of Oklahoma, and he brought the Browns to the playoffs last year. Maybe not on his arm, but there's something about Baker Mayfield. I just love Baker Mayfield. I got him at 10. Should he be lower? Should he even be on this list? Probably not. But I'm gonna do my bias, and I can piss off Lamar. What?
Wait, I thought I put him on here. Where did I put him?
I don't know.
Oh shit!
You didn't put Baker on it?
I didn't put him on. All right, yeah. Take off Cousins. Baker slides in. Yeah, he'll go one spot ahead of Murray.
Oh, there you go. Former Oklahoma Sooners right
one
there.
spot behind Murray. Sorry,
behind Murray. Okay.
One spot behind Murray. Fuck, I forgot to put him on. Jeez. All right, sorry. Ryan at 15, Tannehill 14, Prescott 13, Murray. Sorry, Baker 11. Wait, sorry. One sec. Hang on. Ryan 13. Tannehill for us. We're not professionals here, guys.
Sorry. We are not professional. I'm doing it at a ball game.
Right. Prescott 13. Mayfield goes 12.
Okay.
12. Murray 11, and then the list carries on. Whatever. Take Kirk Cousins off. Put Baker Mayfield
on there.
I agree.
Damn right.
He is one of the most overhated players in the league.
100%. Yes. Is his arm the best? No, he does not have a better arm than Herbert. He's mobile enough. I think he's definitely improving as he's grown as an individual in the league. He's gotten better every year. Yes, that second year maybe was a step back. We had a great rookie year, then bounced back last year. I think it's Freddie Kitchens. Exactly. You give him the Kitchens just quota or whatever. Number 9, I got Dak Prescott. Seeing this guy every two times a year, I hate facing Dak Prescott. It's just something about him. He's not elite at everything, but he just finds a way to win. He's just one of those quarterbacks I hate facing. So, seeing him
too, yeah.
Great leader of men, yes, does he have a great offensive line? Yes, does he have a great receiver room? And Zeke, we'll see you next week, running back rankings. But, Zeke was a great running back. Maybe is he not now? Who knows? But, for me, I hate facing Dak, so I had to throw Dak in the top 10. Number 8, I got Matt Stafford. I love Matt Stafford, and I'm so excited to see him in the McVay offense with weapons. Detroit never really had a Galladay, Megatron his first couple years in the league. But, Detroit never gave him, the weapons he really deserved. He is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league because he played for Detroit. But getting older, put him in McVay's system. God, he could put up a bunch of numbers. At number 7, I have Kyler. I put Kyler here. I know what you said. Short, can't throw over the middle. But, again, mobile. Again, he has good QB skills, and he's mobile enough. He's not a guy like Lamar, where Lamar is run first, then throw. Kyler is throw first, then run. He looks down the field, looks at his options. When there's no option, then he runs. Unlike Lamar, who's run first. Who cares about the options? And then number 6, before we get into the top 5, I have put Deshaun Watson here. Maybe a little, I put a guy ahead of him that maybe it's 1 year you shouldn't put ahead of him, but he carried my fantasy team last year, so you get the top 5 just for that. But yeah, Deshaun when healthy. Deshaun's one of the better quarterbacks. Maybe off the field, he's kind of a douche, but right now he's on the field. If we're talking straight quarterback, Deshaun, two-way ability, great arm. With able to run a read option, can run that kind of system. Deshaun is going to be dangerous, and if he gets everything cleared up, he's going to be one of the most interested QB for somebody to trade for next year.
All right, so I actually fixed my list. So it goes Ryan, Tannehill, Prescott, then Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. I don't think people realize how good this guy is because he had a couple rough games in awful weather last year. Is his job easy because he has such a good offensive line and such a good roster around him? Yes. Does he elevate the talent around him? Yes. He's one of the best over-the-middle throwers in the game. His arm is really good. Just because you don't have some elite deep ball does not mean you have a bad arm. He's got elite zip on the ball, elite velocity, can fight, throw, put it in those tight windows. And he's a good athlete too. Once they kind of started using him more of that bootleg roll, kind of rolling him outside the pocket, their offense, the team got amazing all of a sudden. It was really good in the playoffs.
Yeah, look at the game against Kansas City. He went tick for tack with Mahomes. If that stupid fumble call for touchdown, the Browns are in that game, and they could have been a completely different game. So you got to give Baker. I do like that you got Baker in the top 10, but Baker and the Browns, man. Sneaky.
No, he's not quite top 10, but he's close.
Close top 10. Yeah, he'll be there at the end of the year.
Then it was Kyler Murray. All right, now starting 10-5. I got Lamar Jackson. I see
Okay.
what you're saying about, is he an elite pocket quarterback? No, he's a really good passer over the middle of the field, though. Something it's kind of funny. He's kind of the, good with Kyler Murray, who can't throw over the middle of the field. Lamar doesn't throw outside the numbers. And, it's interesting seeing maybe if he gets better wide receivers, who they get from
Bateman.
Bateman. Rashad Bateman. That might help with that. Sammy Watkins, I guess. He's not that good anymore. Getting more perimeter threats, maybe that helps out. But, he's a guy who, they ran 3 tight ends like every play in his MVP year for a reason. That's what he does well. And they block for him because he can run like an absolute god. He could probably play running back in the league. I know people call him running back his rookie year. He kind of played that way. It was kind of warranted. It was kind of funny. He has this chip on his shoulder about everyone telling him to switch positions and stuff coming out of college. I love that. He's probably the second best quarterback from that class right now. I think Mayfield has a chance to be better than him. Just a better pure passer. He does have a really funky delivery, the kind of sidearm kind of motion, but I think Lamar Jackson still is a good quarterback. He's not my favorite. I don't love watching him. I love guys who, stay in there in the pocket, step up, manipulate it rather than bail out, scramble around kind of like, and he's not an elite scrambler. I think most of his rushing success comes from, designed runs and stuff like that. So here's my guy who I think could potentially be a top 5 quarterback. That's Joe Burrow.
Oh, you put Burrow up there already? Damn, Jesus.
Yeah, I know it was a small sample size, but with that freaking offensive line, I mean, the dude literally looked like an NFL veteran. He has one of the smartest quarterbacks I've ever seen for, his age and, how young he is. He manipulates the pocket so well, and he's mobile. I know his arm power isn't great, but it just is he outside of a deep ball. Oh, it sounded like you were laughing for a sec, but it was just
I got some drums, a freaking drum quartet just start banging.
Nice. I think Joe Burrow has potentially so much better, and they fixed their offensive line a little bit, but now you reunite him with a Ja'Marr Chase. That's going to be huge for him. He's going to have a huge year. Above him, the rookie was a little bit better than him, Justin Herbert. I'm a traits guy. I look at traits, and there's nothing that Justin Herbert can't do. Was he a little reckless at times? Yes, but this dude had maybe one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. He had fucking Dan Feeney out there, Jet now. His offensive line was terrible last year. Most of his deep throws, he was rushing, off his back foot because he was getting pressured like crazy. So Justin Herbert, he's in for a huge year. Maybe statistically, he might not be as good just for the fact that, he might not have all this deep ball success, but he's going to be a very efficient quarterback again. Hayden, what's going on, man? Yes, Joe Burrow did tear his ACL, but I think, I'm also projecting a little bit. I think how he played, he's a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I didn't want to put him in just because of the injury, and I don't know, them not helping his offensive line doesn't help.
Yeah.
But getting Ja'Marr Chase does, but that's just my opinion.
Now I think about it, I might have put Dak too low. But also Dak's coming off a tough injury too, so it should be interesting.
That's true.
I'm not going to act like I'm some analyst who knows everything. This is just my opinion. What I look for in a quarterback. And then coming in at 6, I got Matt Stafford. I'm really high on him this year. The dude has an absolute piss missile of an arm. He's really good in the pocket, can extend plays pretty decently. And now getting him in this LA, McVay offense, Shanahan offense, he's going to have a huge year. There's MVP odds on him for a reason. He's always been a very good quarterback. I think this is a year he finally puts it all together because he actually gets a good supporting cast. It sucks they lost Cam Akers, but now you got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Sean McVay. I mean, that's kind of an addition in itself. You're going from, Matt Patricia and what's his name? He's with Jacksonville now. The offensive.
What the hell? Oh God, I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest. I gotta look this up. Look it up.
Jacksonville Jaguars OC. It is Darrell Bevell.
Bevell.
I knew it right when it was loading. I didn't have to see it. And right when I said Darrell Bevell, it confirmed. So I was right. It just took me a little while. Going from Darrell Bevell to Sean McVay, it's going to be huge. There's a reason that they traded that much and, gave up on Jared Goff, who stinks, by the way. And there's a reason he's not on this list. Stafford's going to be a huge upgrade. Don't be surprised if the Rams are representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. So let's go to number 5 for you. Who is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish my list. I'm getting ready to get in the ballpark now, but I'll finish it here. Josh Allen. I put Allen in there just because of the breakout year last year. That's maybe am I being biased because he carried my fantasy team? 100%. But Allen finally showed the talent that most people thought he had at Wyoming. good to see. I had Brady at 4. You know, one of the best winners. Maybe not, doesn't have the talent that he did when it was in his prime, but definitely Brady at 4. Russell Wilson at 3. I always love Russ. I think Russ is most underrated. You know, nobody loves Russ, it seems like, but I got Russ at 3. Rodgers at 2. Again, Mahomes, you know, obviously at number 1. I know you're going to probably have Rodgers at 100%. I agree. You know, talent-wise, but Mahomes is just special, my guy. You know, the stuff he can do, and I know you're going to be like, whoa, his plays are crazy. At this point, man.
I get what you're saying. All right, you better get going, man.
Yeah,
I'm a little ruckus there, but
it's getting loud here, so.
I guess I went. I forgot my number 6, but I'll finish up the episode. Andrew, thanks for tuning in, or not tuning in. Thanks for coming on. Next week we'll be on Andrew's channel. Also, guys, make sure you tune in for the voicemail or call in for the voicemail segment. 585. I'll probably say it at the end, but 585-622-4931. Andrew, thanks for coming on, man. You have a good one.
You too, man. Peace out.
All right. Let me finish up this list. Shout out to Andrew for coming on, of course. So number 6, Tom Brady. Number 5. I'm just gonna go 6 to 1 and then give my explanation. Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, not Zach Wilson, unfortunately. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Brady, I mean, is his situation pretty easy. Great supporting cast, and is it? You know, I know he wins games, but he also plays like a really good quarterback at the same time. I don't think he'll be doing this much longer, but, you know, he still gets decent velocity on the ball. He's elite in the pocket. His presence in the pocket. You don't see him scrambling around a lot. You know, even when the offensive line is good, he can manipulate the pocket. That's more important. You know, pocket mobility is more important than overall mobility, in my opinion. Josh Allen, maybe the most talented passer, talented player in the league, having that size with that arm, with that kind of speed, for that size is just incredible. I hate that he's good now. He might take a bit of a step down. He's going to get a lot of yards because the Bills have no running game. So he's going to have a lot of attempts to throw. We saw that especially towards the end of the year. But his traits wise are incredible. Deshaun Watson comes in at number 4. Is he going to play this year? I doubt it. Hopefully everything gets cleared up. All justice gets served, whether it's correct or not. But as a quarterback on the field, he's incredible. He played in one of the worst situations in the league the past couple of years. Has had no offensive line. He's an elite as a runner. He goes through his progressions really well. A lot of people think, pocket, more running quarterbacks, which he's not a run-first quarterback. He's a quarterback who can run. He sits in the pocket, and then if he has to, because his offensive line is so bad, he'll take off and run and make some huge plays. Obviously, he had that incredible game against the Bills, that incredible play where 2 guys hit him, and, he got out of it, which was just crazy. Russell Wilson comes in at number 3, another guy who's, a runner, but he's a pocket-first quarterback. Maybe top 3 arm in the NFL, top 3 deep ball. He might have the best deep ball in the game. He's so consistent too. You know what you're getting him year in, year out. Seeing him in more of a Shanahan system this year with the offensive coordinator they brought in should be very interesting. Number 2, I'm going to get a ton of shit for this. It's Patrick Mahomes. The reason I don't have him number 1 is that he does one thing that's very bad, in my opinion, is drops back way too far in the pocket. When he drops back, it's not step, make the throw. It's, guys aren't open, step, to the point where his tackles have no chance. When you're making, that backward movement and guys just get right around you, nothing you can do about it. And I know he, was good. Was he bad in the Super Bowl? Given the situation, making some highlight reel incomplete passes if you want to. But I just think our number 1 guy, Aaron Rodgers, is better in the pocket. He can do the play, scrambling, all that kind of stuff. He had a better year last year, no doubt about it. He won the MVP for a reason. And plays in a worse situation, in my opinion. Yeah, he's got Devontae Adams, but that's kind of his only, receiver. His offensive line isn't anything elite. Neither is Patrick Mahomes but it will be this year probably. But I think Rodgers is a little more technically sound quarterback. Will Mahomes be number 1 next year? Probably, but coming off that MVP, I think Rodgers deserves the respect to be 1. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. That was episode number 3 of Meadowland Madness. Next week will be on Andrew's channel. Make sure you guys call in 585-622-4931. Leave your voicemails, your questions, all that good stuff. I will see you guys next